Hey folks, the argument section is the hardest section of the paper. And the reason is because it's not just me telling you what to do, right? There's no kind of right by numbers approach to it. It's really you drawing conclusions based on deep thinking about the entity that you're investigating. Now, you can think about the foundational texts that I've given you. So if you're investigating a particular medium, then you can think about the ideas that Neil Postman talked about. You can think about the values and ideologies embedded in specific types of communication. You can think about how specific types of communication suggest that certain sorts of content are more important than others. You can think about how certain types of communication reframe how we think. I mean, these are the ideas and the arguments that Neil Postman is making in his article. And so these are the sorts of things that should help you when you start to look at your mediums. But I can't say that there's a right answer, right? I can only say that you've got to think in these sorts of directions. Similarly, if you're doing the propaganda stuff, then you're not just going to stop at telling me that a particular company uses a technique. You've got to now think about your opinions about the uses of such techniques, right? What happens when certain things are hidden from the consumer? To what extent are some of the decisions that these companies and these individuals making, to what extent are these ethically problematic? To what extent are they necessary? To what extent are they effective? To what extent are they both effective and problematic? Right? These aren't like easy questions to answer, but this is where I really see some complex thinking happening. So my suggestion is that you go back to the articles, that you go back to Postman's text, that you go back to Solace and Symbols, that you go back to The Death and Life of Propaganda, that you take a look at some of those videos that I've put in the research materials. I give you all of these things as kind of catalysts for ideas. Because this is really what I want you to start to wrap your head around. And again, there's not a right answer, but there are ideas that are far more complex if you give yourself some time and some energy to think about the entity that you're investigating. I hope that this helps a little. Take care.